first, but I gotta ask, what is this religion? Praise be to the one God. Yes, I see it now. You will have your day in the spotlight, my lord, someday. Okay, let's do this. Number 1, make it snow. So yeah, in one of my earliest Blake 7 reviews, I mentioned this little thing and sort of suggested I was going to do something with it. Well, it paid off! Here's your holiday special, because it's my gift that I want to share with the world. So, Battle Beyond the Stars was a Roger Corman film, and it was made as a response to the success of the original Star Wars movie. Roger Corman thought that this one was going to do just as well since he budgeted over $2 million for this project, the most that he'd ever spent on a Corman film previously. It's also James Cameron's first major special effects project that he helped out with. In fact, he did such a good job that even Siskel and Ebert were impressed by his work, and that allowed Cameron to foray into more expensive projects. So, much like the original Star Wars movie, Corman decided to borrow story elements from classic Japanese cinema. Which classics did they borrow from? Well, let's see if by the end of the review you can figure it out. Because believe me, once I got it, oh boy, I was impressed. So we open on a spaceship drifting through the vastness of space. And yeah, they're not stealing anything from Star Wars at all with this shot. But yeah, that spaceship eventually arrives on the planet Akir, home to the Akira, and we get to meet our primary antagonist for the film.
I am Sador of the Mount Mori.
You can be Dio Brando all you want, dude, but that makeup is still stupid. But yeah, Sador informs the people of Akira the Akira that they now belong to him and they will provide him with everything he needs from them, or he will destroy them with the most powerful weapon in the universe, the Stellar Converter. Or he'll just start shooting them randomly with his laser to try and make a point. What were the advantages of being enslaved again? Ah! Having proven his point, Sador decides to go run his empire for a couple of days and says he'll return, leaving behind only one spaceship. And oh my, those wipes are oddly familiar despite their shape being different. Yeah, the Akira are pacifists who follow something called the Varda, which is basically the Force, or really just text that they live their lives by. However, one of the Akira does have experience with combat, Zed, though he's old and blind now. But Zed does have a spaceship and suggests that someone from the Akira could go find mercenaries to fight on their behalf. A task that Richard Thomas, playing Shad of the Akira, volunteers to do on their behalf. But that will mean inevitably taking up Zed's ship, which we get a good look at, and yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'm supposed to censor this or not. I mean, it's a very suggestive shape, but yeah, I'm just gonna assume we're probably safe and move on. So as Shad starts wandering around Zed's old spaceship, he starts talking to the central computer named Nell. And yeah, it's kind of easy to see where James Cameron got some of his inspiration for Skynet from.
Are you there, old girl?
Nobody calls me that but Zed.
Sorry. You fired without me. You're placed under my direct command. You fired without me. That which is not organic must not
harm that which is. I know. It's a damn stupid rule.
Yeah, Shad, you're flying around in a spaceship that is not equipped with Asimov's 3 laws. This is not how you live to old age. After taking off from the planet, Shad ends up having a minor scuffle with that little spaceship left behind by Sador, before heading on to the space station of Dr. Hephaestus, one of the best weapons men in the galaxy, according to Zed. And even on my first time viewing the movie, I thought, this exterior is incredible. You can really see that James Cameron and the rest of the special effects team put a lot of work into making these detailed and really pretty. Eventually, Shad ends up landing inside of the space station, and we get this little bit. yeah, the human-shaped version of iPods didn't sell very well. I wonder why. As Shad wanders around the space station, he finds this little mobile chair unit, and it turns out that Dr. Hephaestus makes sure his guests are nice and comfortable. He gets dropped off at the robotic repair shop on the space station, and the technician on duty assumes that he's a robot that's malfunctioning.
Oh, audio malfunction, huh? I'll have to take a look at your banks.
Wait a minute, I'm not an android.
So yeah, this is Nanula, played by Darlene Frugal, and she happens to be the daughter of Dr. Hephaestus. What a coincidence! She's also one of the only other people on the space station here, and ominously informs Shad that Dr. Hephaestus is not what he once was when Zed knew him.
He's more machine now than man.
But yeah, Dr. Hephaestus is aware of Shad's quest and has essentially decided that the Akira don't stand a chance against Sador, but intends to keep Shad here to breed with his daughter so that they can repopulate the space station with people. Flesh and blood people, that is, not just the robots that wander around. It's pretty clear that Dr. Hephaestus has gone quite mad. Shad gets escorted back to Nambula's office so that he can get to know her a little bit better.
Hi. So, yeah, this is kind of awkward. You're the guy my dad kidnapped to marry me to. This is kind of weird.
But yeah, Nambula really wants to experience close encounters of the humankind, so Shad is very easily able to convince her to help him escape.
Step into the captor grid.
I must warn you, Miss Amelia, that will cause the captor grid to short circuit.
Oh.
Friends, I got nothing. I'm watching the same movie as you, and I still don't know what's going on. But Shad does manage to escape and convinces Nambula to come with him. The two of them decide to split up in hopes that they can find other mercenaries out here to help them with their cause. Back over on Sador's ship, he receives word from one of his ambassadors who was sent to inform another planet that they now belong to Sador and the Malmori.
What's this? It is our emissary, sir.
Uncle Ben's instant emissary. Just add water. But yeah, Sador throws it in the messenger's face. Shad continues his search for other mercenaries to help them. They end up detecting another ship out in this section, and... Nope. That is a Confederate flag on the side of a spaceship. That is a Confederate flag on the internet in the year 2019. This is how you get your channel taken down. I am not going here. But you get to talk about one of the best characters in the movie. Nope, not doing this. Not doing this. Not even for that. No! Okay, I'm back. We're gonna talk about this like mature adults. Please don't destroy my comment section, that's all I ask. So yeah, the spaceship with a Confederate flag on the side of it, that belongs to Space Cowboy, who really is everything he says on the side of a tin. He is the hero of the story, and I love him. Even his distress signal is beautiful.
This is Space Cowboy. SOS. Mayday.
Help!
Sorry. Every time that gets me. So yeah, apparently some pirates are coming to take his stuff, but thanks to Shad's help, they're able to drive them off. Though I do enjoy this bit taken completely out of context.
Not from behind.
Step in it, kid. You gotta follow through.
No, not from behind, no.
Fortunately for Shad, Space Cowboy was carrying a cargo full of hand weapons. So at least they'll have something to fight the Malmori off with. Shad and Space Cowboy also get to witness what happened to that planet that disrespected Sador as they are vaporized with the Stellar Converter. Unfortunately, they were also Space Cowboy's clients, so all of those guns he was hauling are now completely worthless, unless he finds a new buyer. So with nothing better to do, and even though he doesn't have a warship, Space Cowboy offers to help out the Akira. So Shad has managed to find two people that are willing to help the cause. Though that may end up being just one person, as Nambula's managed to get herself captured by this giant bass fish spaceship thing.
I know I said I wanted to hang out, but this is not what I meant.
Unfortunately, Nambula gets captured by Cayman, this Sleestack-looking guy who intends to sell her to the highest bidder. His crew consists of 2 Kelvins, an alien race that express their communication entirely through body heat, and a human bodyguard who I could swear was Kevin Sorbo, but I know it's not. But still, come on! They're out here looking for anything that will make them money, so she offers them a job as mercenaries to help the Akira. Unfortunately, Sleestack fellow here is not interested in the deal. Until...
You're heartless! You're just like Sador!
Sador? Sador of the Malmori?
That's who we're fighting against.
But that seems to strike a chord. So much so, he's even willing to help them for free. That's kinda nice. So, the Sleestacks were pretty awesome and landed the loss, so that's an asset. And hey, people that can heat themselves up enough to burn people, that's useful. Sorry, Kevin, but unless you're a half-god, you're not really worth much in this fight. And apparently this is just Kidnap Central, since there's a big white spaceship that manages to abduct Shad from his own spaceship. He takes it well.
Okay, what's the big idea? Listen, if I don't get some answers fast, I'm gonna have to use this thing.
A non-psychic entity says, what?
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, good call, Shad. Well, this turns out to be Nestor. Nestor is a hive mind, and these are all various aspects of his. On his home world, Nestor's kind of bored, since there's a couple billion of him to experience everything there is to experience. So these 5 aspects have been sent out to help the Akira with their fight, since that's something new and interesting to experience. So hey, we're up to 5 allies willing to help the Akira. Afterwards, Shad travels to the planet of Escasso, which apparently is the Mos Eisley of the galaxy, home to all of the scum and villainy. Though it looks like maybe it's been a while since anyone's been here. And yeah, I wouldn't trust anything that comes from a give-a-drug vending machine, just saying. Though a prostitute vending machine might yield some useful prospects. On second thought, I feel like the advertising was a little misleading. Hey, smooth skin, take a picture, it lasts longer. But there is one living person still here who manages to get Shad's attention. This is Gelt, played by Robert Vong, who you might recognize from the Magnificent Seven. Yeah, Gelt is the king of this place. All the other bounty hunters and outlaws were rounded up and sent off to prison planets. And he can't ever leave here because he's the most wanted man in the galaxy. He's a professional assassin.
Kill for pay.
I have no home, no family, no principles. What else would I kill for?
Pleasure?
No. It's strictly business with me.
Fortunately for Shad, Gelt likes the prospect of some place where he can hide out and actually enjoy himself rather than having to survive on Lizard 3 times a day. So we'll work for the Akira for a place to hide and a warm meal. So we now have 6 people willing to help the Akira. As Shad heads home for Akira, his ship ends up being buzzed by a little tiny fighter craft, barely worth even noticing compared to his ship, but insists on trying to start a fight with Shad, even managing to get a good hit off on him when he's not paying attention. Shad's ship wasn't damaged, but still an unamused person, he calls up the other pilot.
I am Saint Exman of the Valkyrie. I have counted coup upon you.
I have heard of your battle with the Malmori. I wish to join you.
Honey, in that getup, you can do anything you want to. I am all for empowering women. Shad, being the great military leader that he is, dismisses Saint Exman, believing that she's not able to provide anything useful to their fight. Soon afterward, Shad ends up meeting up with the rest of the mercenaries, and we get some nice meet and greet bits. Including Saint Exman, who has decided to follow along even though she's not welcome. Though I also find it really frustrating that she's the only one with a flight couch that forces her to be on her back the whole time. Once they arrive at Akira, they end up having to have a fight with that ship that was left behind by Sador, but yeah, unfortunately, unlike Star Wars, the fight scenes are kind of incoherent and clearly designed to be stock footage for other sci-fi movies, so not much to talk about there. But the good guys win and eventually land on the planet below, where the locals initially hide from their saviors before coming out to greet them. So it's time to formulate a plan. Their only hope is to take out the Stellar Converter. Unfortunately, the only time the Stellar Converter is exposed is when it's firing.
That's impossible, even for a computer.
But it's not impossible.
Hey! get out of my review! So the plan is to basically try and come up with a plan during the battle. So they start readying their defenses, using a sonic xylophone to dig trenches. No, I'm not kidding. And Space Cowboy being utterly badass once again.
What drink is that?
Scotch. And soda.
Yeah, in keeping with the holiday spirit, friends, if any of you want to make me a belt-mounted scotch and soda dispenser, I will pay you for it. Now, friends, we have to take a quick moment to talk about something. Yeah, this next scene is some of the finest comedy, and I couldn't write anything to really make fun of it, so I'm just gonna let the clip play, and yeah, please be aware it's not safe for the workplace. I will try and include a timestamp so you can skip over it, but the writers clearly knew what they were doing. This couldn't have been an accident.
Oh, I could do wonders for that boy. I would recharge his capacitors, stimulate his solenoid, tingle, dingle, dangle, prangle his transistors. You know, sex.
I can't imagine what it must be like.
Stick with me. You'll get an education.
Oh, you are just a treat.
But yes, friends, time for the rapid-fire joke section of the review.
Do you think you could show me the ropes?
Certainly. Let me get my Dr. Frankenfurter costume.
I don't understand.
For procreation, I mean.
Yeah, I've got a sex ed tape from my high school around here somewhere.
Males and females again?
Only 2 sexes? On Bilandic, it takes 3.
In Vegas, it takes 4, but that costs extra.
Well, maybe I could show you the ropes.
Battle Beyond the Stars, the only movie that has its own porn parody baked in.
I've scanned information about mating.
Oh, tell me about this Earth thing you call kissing.
Does your species have kissing?
Called it!
Oh, yes. We have that.
Sometimes I even kiss my own hand. Here, let me show you.
I think it's your torque bar.
I'm taking pills for that. Oh, I mean...
Why, what?
Your torque bar, it slipped its groove.
I never had that problem with St. X-Men.
Okay, I'm done now. And for the people who use the timestamp... And that's how this is a perfect homage to that scene from Alien. Okay, let's get back to the main movie. Oh, friends, the best scene in the entire movie. Let's just watch it together, and then I will break it down for you. Yes, you did see that correctly. They are using the Kelvins as a campfire. Space Cowboy is not only roasting hot dogs, but also playing his harmonica around the campfire. This is just comedy gold. In a slightly more serious, somber note, we get some of the Akira talking to Gelt and asking him about his past. And I love Robert Vaughn's performance of this character. Rather than being some epic space hero in the vein of Star-Lord, he's more just tired and exhausted from the constant looking over his shoulder. A deeply somber character in this otherwise semi-lighthearted movie. It's really too good of a performance for this film, and I think gives real credit to his work. Unfortunately, Sador has arrived and begins his attack. The first one of the mercenaries to engage Sador is St. X-Men, who demands he leave at once. Sador is not impressed, but in a pretty cool dogfight, we can see that even though St. X-Men's ship isn't anything special, she's able to outmaneuver them quite easily and is actually a very skilled pilot. Though that may be because you have to reach across your chair to push the fire button with your other hand. I'm going to be skipping over a majority of the fight scenes since they are mostly just stock footage that we've already seen, and frankly the choreography is done so poorly it's kind of hard to keep track of where anybody is in terms of each other's relative position. The major highlights mostly consist of Sador unleashing one of his more deadly weapons that isn't the Stellar Converter.
Uh-oh, nuclear missile. Only chance with these babies is to outrun them.
Okay, I think there are other alternatives than just outrunning a nuclear missile, but whatever makes you happy. Gelt attempts to attack Sador's flagship directly, but ends up getting shot down and crashing back to the planet Akir. Sador ends up landing ground forces on the planet to begin the ground assault. I don't know why they park so far away, but unfortunately they have a sonic tank with them which prevents them from using their sonic xylophone from collapsing the trenches on the rest of the invading Malmori forces. No one can get close to it because of the loud noise. However,
it seems they're volunteering.
Yeah, what can they do?
Well, for one thing, the Kelvin have no ears.
Wait, what? You actually remembered a little tiny detail like that? They communicate entirely through body heat, so of course they wouldn't have ears. They end up taking out the tank, and unfortunately they seem to go down as well.
They're cold.
They've used all their energy.
Get them to the protein tanks, hurry!
Come on!
Yes, we must render them down for their useful meat. They will be needed to feed the wounded later. Because, yeah, we never see the Kelvins again in the rest of the movie. Unfortunately, one of the other casualties of this particular battle winds up being Zed, who goes down fighting. Once the battles reach the lull, they end up returning back to the planet Arkir to nurse their wounds. Yeah, this one's a goner. Better put some ketchup on him before we send him off to the protein tanks. Saint X-Men tried to force herself into Halle Berry's Catwoman costume, and it ripped apparently. But she's come to brag about her success during the battle. She finds this utterly exhilarating, while Shad just finds it really depressing, seeing all of his friends dead around him.
Our creed is to live fast, fight well, and have a beautiful ending.
No violent ending is beautiful.
You've never seen a Valkyrie go down.
No, but Nebula did! Hi-oh! Sorry, that was unprofessional of me. One of the other casualties winds up being Gelt, even though he considers it a good end. After all, he hadn't really anything else to live for and was going to die eventually. At least he has somewhere quiet that he can be laid to rest without grave robbers coming to desecrate his body or something. So at some point, one of the 5 aspects of Nestor got captured off screen and is now being tortured by Sador. Although, Nestor is not a fan of pain, so rather just terminates that aspect of himself voluntarily. At which point, yeah, apparently Sador chops off his arm and replaces his failing right arm with it? Apparently Sador is a patchwork man that replaces various body parts that wear out. I really wish this had been established better in the movie, but yeah, that's the only conclusion I can draw from this. However, much like with Shad earlier, the 4 remaining aspects of Nestor intend to use the arm to psychically try and kill Sador. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out. Their best attempt to try and kill Sador having failed, the rest of the crew are despondent, but still willing to continue the fight, since they would rather die than admit defeat at the hands of Sador. And Sador is all for this challenge, launching a full-scale attempt to destroy the remaining resistance, since he lost his right arm. But it's the 11th hour, and the remaining mercenaries live by the creed of the great Captain Malcolm Reynolds. We're big damn heroes. Unfortunately, when most of your strategy is just run at the big ship and hope for the best, that doesn't end well, and the aspects of Nestor are the first ones to die. Unable to stand by and do nothing, Space Cowboy decides to go up, even though he doesn't have a fighter craft to try and act as a distraction to buy the rest time to take out Sador. The next one to go is Saint X-Men, who kamikazes her little tiny ship into Sador's flagship. She was, however, successfully able to take out the Stellar Converter. Unfortunately, Sador's new strategy is to just glass the planet with his conventional weapons. And we finally get an explanation as to why Cayman wants to kill Sador for free.
Of what form are you, Cayman?
I am of the Lazuli.
I thought I had the honor of making that form extinct.
Evidently not. Unfortunately, Space Cowboy gets targeted by one of those unavoidable nuclear missiles and gets taken out of the fight. Though I do enjoy his calmness as he crashes back to the planet below and continues to play his harmonica as he knows he's going to die soon. Space Cowboy, you were the weirdest and best part of this movie. Live on forever. That is followed up by one of the most memorable and weirdest scenes of this whole movie. And just keep in mind that beats even you've never seen a Valkyrie go down, have you?
Lazuli!
I got nothing. I mean, as a battle cry, it doesn't leave anything to be desired, but it is kind of silly. Though awesome to do when you're merging into traffic. But that does mean that the rest of the mercenaries are gone. Shad's plan is to try and just self-destruct his spaceship right on top of Sador and hope that it causes a chain reaction to kill him. And that ends up mostly working, except they get targeted by one of those unescapable nuclear devices and somehow manage to blow it up. Though it does enough damage to the spaceship that they end up having to abandon it while leaving it to self-destruct. Shad and Nambula manage to escape, and we get one of the most awesome moments of the whole movie.
This is Sador of the Malmori. I command you to surrender.
I'll surrender, you sorry son of a mutant. 5, 4.
3, 2, 1, it ends up blowing up and Sador gets taken out. As Shad and Nambula drift back down to the planet Akir, they have a "they're never really gone, they'll live forever" in the Force moment, and then the movie just ends. Well, okay then. So, interesting trivia. The reason that the Akira are named the Akira is for Akira Kurosawa, the great Japanese director, whose movie, The Seven Samurai, was totally what they stole half the plot for this movie from. Which is also kind of weird when you consider that they also got one of the guys from The Magnificent Seven, which was a previous attempt to do the same thing but with westerns. The very different spaceship designs is pretty cool, and definitely helps broaden the universe and stop it from seeming like one homogenous, human-centric environment. And once again, James Cameron did an amazing job designing each of the models. I highly encourage you to check it out for yourself. Show it to your friends. Not only do I want to educate people on this really weird, obscure piece of cinema, but honestly, it's really good. Now, yes, I admit it's good in the same way the Rocky Horror Picture Show is good, where the most fun you're gonna have is riffing it with your friends, but still, the bits that work are really good, and I can see why even James Cameron is still willing to say that he's very proud of this movie, for all of its flaws and its datedness. But yes, friends, happy holidays, and I will hope to see you in the year 2020 with even more really cool stuff. And what better way to welcome in the new year than by declaring as a group of weirdos that all enjoy these weird reviews, Lazuli!